Okay, class, welcome back to this channel. So, today we will discuss approaches to tourism policy planning and development. So, moving forward, learning objectives, you have to explain the different tourism platforms, discuss the different theories of tourism development, and identify the key principles and strategies of sustainable tourism development. So, moving forward, what is a tourism platform? So, a tourism platform um, is like a shared viewpoint or approach that guides how people study and understand tourism. A platform shapes the focus and the solutions researchers use to study tourism, according to Jafari 1999. So, in short, when we say tourism platform class, um, it helps you how are you going to manage or how are you going to solve a common problem and give a solution in the different forms of tourism. Okay, so moving forward, what are the five platforms of tourism cited by Jafari 1999? So the first one, we have advocacy platform. We also have cautionary platform, adaptancy platform, knowledge-based platform, and the social justice platform. So let's discuss one by one. First is advocacy platform. So when we say advocacy platform, it is a platform in tourism in which the viewpoint that sees tourism as a positive force. It focuses on the benefits of tourism brings. Meaning, it is a platform wherein what are the benefits that we can get in the tourism sector or in the tourism industry. So some of the advocacy or the benefits that we can get are, for example, economic earnings, income generation, jobs, employment. Tourism also creates sustainability. Tourism promotes culture and heritage preservations. 'Di ba? In tourism sectors, those are some of the advocacies it brings to the economy and to the people. Okay? Because tourism gives us a lot of opportunity. Okay? Whether it is in jobs, incomes, in our economy, 'di ba? Most of the workforce in the Philippines are also part of the tourism industry. Okay? There are cabin crews, pilots, hoteliers, restaurateurs, so on and so forth. That's what we call advocacy platform. All you need to understand when we say advocacy platform, it sees tourism as a positive force because it brings benefits to people and to the economies itself. Next is cautionary platform. So when we say cautionary platform, kaibahan or opposite view naman siya ng advocacy platform. When we say cautionary, kung ang advocacy platform, it focuses on the positive side that the tourism industry is bringing to us. Kapag cautionary platform naman, it focuses on the negative side of tourism, that tourism can be harmful force that can cause problem to the society or to the host community. So one of the example of cautionary platform that tourism may bring to us is, for example, mass tourism. When we say mass tourism, um, yung dami ng tao or ng tourist na pumupunta doon sa isang destination or sa isang lugar. And sa sobrang dami, hindi na siya na-manage ng tama. Kaya nagkakaroon ng pagkasira or degradation doon sa lugar na yon. So one of the best example of this, if you are familiar on what happened to Boracay Island during the regime of our former president Rodrigo Duterte. So pinasara niya yung Boracay kasi nga um, nasisira na siya or hindi na siya na maintain ng tama because there are a lot of waste products, there are a lot of leakage that are coming from the different infrastructure there and dumadiretso doon sa bodies of water. That's why namamatay or nasisira yung mga coral reefs, yung mga marine animals. So that's one of the example of cautionary platform na even though tourism have a positive effect sa atin, there are also challenges or there are also harmful things na nabibigay niya. Okay? So, next. Next is adaptancy platform. When we say adaptancy platform, in tourism, it recognizes that yes, merong negative effect yung tourism. Katulad ng sinabi natin kanina, yung mass tourism. Okay, yung negative effect niya sa sobrang daming nagvi-visit doon ay sa destinations na yon, since madali siyang puntahan or famous siya, nasisira or napapabayaan yung destination. Now, sa adaptancy platform, yes, nire-recognize niya na merong negative impact yung tourism, but sinasuggest ng adaptancy platform na yung mga problema na nararanasan natin or na i-encounter natin katulad ng mass tourism ay pwede nating maiwasan or mabawasan sa pagpopromote ng ibang uri ng tourism, katulad ng alternative tourism. When we say alternative tourism, instead na mag-encourage tayo ng mga tao na pumunta doon sa mga lugar na given na, like beaches, ano pa ba, coffee shop, hotels, why not encourage them to try alternative kinds of tourism, such as ecotourism? Okay? When we say ecotourism, you are engaging with nature. You are engaging with natural resources such as you are doing hikings, you are doing campings, 'di ba? Not all can do hikings and campings, but we can also promote that. Okay? That's adaptancy platform. You offer alternative tourism activities to tourists so that they can divert their attention to the usual destinations. Okay? Next is knowledge-based platform. When we say knowledge-based platform, it focuses on travel that centers around learning, education, and exchange of knowledge. Okay? That's why tinawag siyang knowledge-based. So one of the best example of this are those people who are traveling because they want to do further education. They want to do or they want to widen their learnings. They want to enhance their knowledge about different things, about different agendas, so on and so forth. So, for example, families, friends, or people are going to museums to gather informations about artifacts. Some of them, they are traveling from different countries because they want to study abroad, so on and so forth. We also have social justice platform. When we say social justice platforms, it focuses on the area of tourism wherein it should be fair, equitable, and benefits everyone involved. Lalong-lalo na yung mga tao na part ng marginalized and disadvantaged community. Yung social justice platform, ang campaign niya ay maiwasan yung inequalities in the tourism industry at ma-exploit or mapagsamantalahan yung mga tao or yung mga host community na walang masyadong power when it comes to tourism activities. In short, sa social justice, kailangan fair and all of the people involved in the tourism operations are receiving proper involvement and equitable benefits. So for example, workers should be paid equally based on their job responsibilities. Another example is yung mga ethnic groups, kailangan mabigyan sila ng karapatan or ng kakayahan na maging involved when it comes to tourism activities. That's why when you go to other part of the world or in different countries or in different parts of the Philippines, most of the tour guides there are host community, yung mga taong naninirahan doon sa destinations na yon. Because yun yung pinopromote ng social justice. We have to make sure na all of them are involved in the operations of the tourism sector. Okay? Another example is wages or yung kita, yung sweldo. Okay? Everybody should receive fair and just compensation. And dapat everybody is promoting tourism services, dapat din lahat ay umaangat or yung standard of living nila ay gumiginhawa because it promotes social justice platform in tourism. Okay? Next, we also have tourism development theories. So, tapos na tayo doon sa mga platforms. We've already discussed the various platforms. Now, let's proceed with tourism development theories. What are the theories of uh, people in tourism development? Ito yung mga teorya kung saan pwede nating gamitin or pwede nating isaalang-alang para mas maging develop, mas maging sustainable pa yung mga tourism activities natin. So the first one is laissez-faire theory. We also have modernization theory, trickle-down theory, neoliberal theory, dependency theory, and IRIDEX model. So isa-isahin natin siya. The first one is yung tinatawag nating laissez-faire theory. So, in short, papasimplehan lang din natin. Pag sinabi nating laissez-faire theory, minimal lang yung intervention ng gobyerno sa pagpapatakbo ng tourism development. Okay? Yung operation ay ipinapaubaya ng government sa mga private institution. Okay? Mga regulations and interventions for sustainable tourism. So in short, naniniwala sila dun, may teorya na kapag ang gobyerno ay hindi masyadong nakikialam or koonti lang yung part sa pagpapalago ng turismo at hinahayaan nila ang private institution or ang private government ang mamuno at manguna sa pagdevelop ng mga tourism development areas, mas mag-grow ang tourism industry kapag may less intervention ng government. Okay, pakitandaan kapag laissez-faire theory, minimal lang yung intervention or yung part ng government. When it comes to the operations of the tourism development. Mostly sa mga private organizations or sa mga private institutions nila, pinapa-ubaya yung mga paggagawa ng mga legislations and regulations. Next is modernization theory. When we say modernization theory, this theory can help the country's transitions from traditional to modern society. So we are all aware that nowadays, nandun na tayo sa new era. New millennium na tayo that most of the activities and people are very inclined to technology. Okay, there are a lot of AI, there are a lot of innovations, infrastructures coming in and building in worldwide. That's why modernization theory posits that it will help our tourism sector to become more developed and become successful over and over years. Okay, so in short, kailangan nating maging moderno. Kailangan nating sumabay sa ibang bansa sa pagpapataas ng antas ng iba't ibang infrastructure and facilities in order for other people and other tourists from different parts of the world to visit and try our destinations. Next, trickle down theory. When we say trickle down theory, itong theory na to, it assumes that the growth of our economy will depend or will or is aligned doon sa mga ah, bansa or sa mga society na mas mayayaman. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, the more na tumataas yung antas nila sa society, yung mga mahihinang bansa or yung mga maliliit na bansa, nakikinabang din sila doon. If you are familiar with what happened doon sa recession, when we say recession, ito yung bumagsak yung economy ng mundo. This is way back 2009 when our former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo faced that challenge where it happens the worldwide recession that the economy are wear down during that time. That's the focus of trickle down theory. If yung mga nasa first world country, yung mga bansang yun ay bumagsak yung ekonomiya nila, meron din siyang magiging effect sa atin na mga third world country kasi most of them are also travelers going to our country. And if they do not have enough income, they do not have flowing money, they do not have resources, then how they are going to travel on our country? Okay? So, trickle-down theory is triggered, nagti-triggered from upper to lower society. So, kung sila din ay booming, then our countries will become boom as well. Because people are keep investing. People are keep coming to our countries to view our destinations. Tourists will leverage that time to purchase a lot of products, services, and experiences. And when we have that, we, as part of the tourism sector, as the tourism professionals who are working on the tourism sector, will also benefited from that people. Our lives will become meaningful as well. It can lead us to a higher status because we can earn more income. It prevent poverty. It gives a lot of opportunities to people, such as in terms of employment, in terms of income generation, so on and so forth. That's why trickle down theory is one of the theories that the people are looking at when it comes to tourism development. Next is the neoliberal theory. When we say um, neoliberal theory, kung yung laissez-faire, meron pa siyang minimal intervention ng government, meron pa rin connection ang government dun sa laissez-faire theory. Ang kaibahan or ang opposite niya ay yung neoliberal theory. When we say neoliberal theory, private ang namumuno. Okay? Lahat ng regulations, lahat ng standardizations, private companies ang may hawak. Walang intervention ang government. Okay? Free market policies. They can do whatever they want. They can enforce rules and regulations for their establishment without the interventions of the government. Okay? Next is dependency theory. When we say dependency theory, class, we depend, um, there are countries that depends their income, their tourism development, their profits to the other developed countries. Okay? Kasi nga, wala silang masyadong resources, wala silang masyadong infrastructures, wala silang masyadong attractions and pristine destinations. That's why they are dependent to a certain countries na mas may opportunity for growth or may opportunity or may potential for tourism development. Okay? And lastly, the IRIDEX model. When we say IRIDEX model, it focuses on the social, environmental impacts of tourism. That we have to also take in consideration the different challenges and barriers that we've encountered when it comes to environment, that we also take in consideration to take good care of the environment. Why? Because um, helping the environment can also sustain the products and services that we are offering to our tourists or to our target markets. And when it comes to social impacts, we also need to take in considerations our host community, the people living in that destinations. Okay, in order for us to manage properly the underlying problems that we've encountered for such aspects. Okay. Next is approaches to tourism planning. What are the approach that we do when it comes to tourism planning? So first one is no planning. We also have ad hoc planning, integrated planning, boosterist planning, product-led, and spatial planning. First one, from its word, no planning. Very simple. They do not plan. Okay? It is as is. Okay? Hinahayaan lang nilang pumunta yung mga tourists, hinahayaan lang nilang pumunta dun sa attractions, sa destinations, but they do not do any plans. Okay? Kahit may basura dyan, tambak yung basura, nag-vandalize dun sa mga walls, sa mga buildings, mataas yung crime rate, dilapidated na yung mga infrastructures, they do not care because they do not plan. Okay? No planning at all. Next, ad hoc planning. When we say ad hoc planning, um, you're going to create a plan in a case-to-case basis, meaning reactive planning ang ad hoc planning. Pag nandyan na yung threat or nandyan na yung problema, doon ka palang magpaplano or doon ka palang gagawa ng immediate actions or ng immediate solutions. Katulad ng nangyari sa COVID-19 pandemic, nabulaga tayong lahat. Okay? Na encounter natin siya na nandyan na siya, na alam naman natin na meron na siyang cases sa ibang bansa. Pero hindi tayo nagplano agad. Hindi natin kinlose yung airports. We still allowed people coming from different countries going into our countries. Ad hoc planning, kailan tayo nagsimula? Kung kailan meron ng cases dito sa bansa natin. Kung kailan meron ng nakapasok na case dun sa bansa natin. Dun pa lang tayo nag-limit ng travel. Dun pa lang tayo nag-ban. Dun pa lang tayo nag-close. Okay? Nung may mga namamatay na, dun pa lang tayo nag-create ng mga precautionary measures. Yung iba ayaw pang maniwala. So on and so forth. That's ad hoc planning. Kapag nandiyan na yung problema, nag-arise na yung problema, then that's the time that we will create our solution. Next, integrated tourism planning. Excuse me. When we say integrated tourism planning, we involve all of the aspects of tourism, such as infrastructure, marketing, environment, community impacts. All of those are interconnected. We take in consideration of these components and check what are the possible and potential strategies that we can implement for these aspects. Boosterist approach. When we say boosterist approach, it is an approach of focusing on promoting and a marketing destination to attract tourists, often emphasizing its unique features and potential. This approach is driven by the belief that increased tourism can bring economic growth and development. From its word boost or boosterist, meaning you create a plan to a destination na biglang nag-trending or biglang hype sa social media. 'Di ba? So, one of the examples that we encounter here sa boosterist approach, however, hindi naman siya directly impacted, but naging connected siya because of the other restaurant. The Balay Dako incidents wherein there was a customer who wrote a Facebook post delivering sentiments wherein yung aso niya or yung dog niya is part of Aspin. And Balay Dako is promoting that they are pet friendly. But pet friendly lang sila dun sa may mga breed. Pero dun sa mga wala, they do not allowed or they are not entertaining. So, ma'am, paano po siya nag-boost sa boosterist approach? Nag-trending yung post na yon and naging nagkaroon ng negative impact kay Balay Dako. However, since nag-boost yung trend na pet-friendly restaurant, the other nearby restaurants or the other restaurants who saw that problem translate that issue to a positive one when it comes to their restaurants because they promoted that their restaurants are pet friendly. It boosts the trends. And since na promote nila yon na yung restaurants nila ay pet friendly, then those people who are pet friendly and affected doon sa nangyaring incident na yon, pag nakita nila yon, magkakaroon ng boost or ng thinking sa isip nila, ay doon na lang tayo kumain, doon na lang tayo mag-avail ng products and services kasi pet friendly sila compare doon sa isang restaurant. That's Boosteries approach. Another example ng Boosteries approach when you are scrolling in your TikTok accounts. Most of the time, we see a lot of restaurants being promoted by different vloggers. And when we saw or when we see that restaurants na Instagrammable, the food are looks appetizing, the view are tantalizing and mesmerizing, then nagte-trending siya. Nagbo-boom or nagbo-boost siya bigla. Okay? That's what we call boosteries approach. We promote a certain destinations that we might think that there is a potential na i-visit siya ng mga turista. Next, product-led development. When we say product-led development, we enhance a specific tourism products or attractions in order for us to attract tourists. Okay. Destinations na siya, pinupuntahan na siya ng tao, may pumupunta na dong turista, pero naglalagay ka pa rin or i-innovate ka pa rin ng mga panibagong produkto para mai-offer mo dun sa mga turista para hindi sila magsawa, para laging bago. Meron pa ring unique and quality tourism products that you can offer on that destinations. Kasi hindi nga tayo pwedeng makampante lang, ay may bumibisit namang turista, okay na yan. Hindi yun pwede. We have to make sure na we keep innovating. We have to make sure that we keep creating and translating products and services so that our guests will keep coming back to our destinations. Kasi kung paulit-ulit yan, magsasawa sila. Okay, and lilipat sila dun sa bago. Do you get my point? Okay. Next is spatial planning approach. When we say spatial planning approach, as we discussed in a previous lesson, when we say spatial planning approach, the location or the land, the geographical location of a certain destination. You have to take in consideration if a certain destination um, have a proper distribution of infrastructure, resources, so on and so forth. One of the best example is halimbawa, a certain destination such as Cebu and the Mindoro province. There are a lot of marine biology doon sa destination na yon. So, in that destination, what do you think or what do you think are some of the tourism plan that you can implement on that destination? Another example, when you go to Romblon. Romblon is the home of marble because there are a lot of what do you call this? Yung minahan ng ginto in that area. So, what do you think is a good strategic tourism plan that you can do on that destination? Those are the things that you need to take in consideration when you are doing spatial planning approach because you need to take in consideration their geographical resources, their geographical location. Ano ba yung meron dun sa lugar na yon? Okay? Okay, so that's or those are some of the tourism planning approach that you need to take in consideration when you are creating your framework. And that's the end of our discussion. If you have a question, you can comment your questions or your inquiry uh, below.